What's up, guys? Before we start the review, be sure to check our Gearist giveaways playlist out on this channel right now, because you never know, we may be giving away something pretty cool. What's up, guys, and welcome to this episode of Gearist TV. Today we're going to be talking about the Ruff Leash from Zee.Dog. So rough. Now, if you've watched a lot of Gearist TV episodes in the past, you may think that this is a bit of a departure for us, but in truth, it's not. Whenever I go, or any of our other running testers go out for runs or hikes or what have you, we do try to take our dogs, those of us that have dogs, with us, because they want to get out into nature too, so it's really awesome to give them that opportunity and have some more time to spend with our friends. For me, the dog that I take is my 14-month-old Border Collie, Sadie. Now, being that she's a Border Collie, which with pretty much insatiable energy, means that she can run and hike and what have you forever, and she'll just keep going and going and going. Unfortunately, a lot of the places that we go, they have those pesky leash laws, because it's like either a rabbit or prairie dog rich environment, and those animals are really integral to the ecosystem of that area, and they don't want them being disturbed by dogs. And likewise, I don't want my dog to eat one of those things or something like that and wind up with rabies or the plague or something like that. So this is where the Ruff Leash has been a really good friend of mine for the past few months. Now, right off the bat, I should mention that Sadie is a very, very good listener. She's a Border Collie, the smartest breed of dogs. No offense to those of you that have other really smart dogs. I'm sure they're brilliant as well. But Border Collies, and her particularly, they're very, very good listeners. And so if I call her, she comes back and things like that. However, if we're running, a lot of times, if she's on a long leash, the problem is she gets some momentum going, and it is all 55 pounds of dog, and that's big for a Border Collie. 55 pounds Border Collie tearing after some animal that she's just seen run by. This is where a longer leash would kind of put you into a predicament. The predicament being two things. Now, if that longer leash is there and you have got some slack on it, there's running room for her to get some momentum built up, and then it just will jerk, and with the potential of possibly ripping the leash right out of your hands. Likewise, for the dog, think about it from that angle. The dog has that room to get the momentum going. It's really going to tug on their neck. So Zee.Dog has made a much shorter leash. It's only about 2.5 feet, 3 feet long, and it really keeps them from getting that momentum built up, but still gives you enough room to keep it away from your body a little bit. Now, more into the pulling thing, one of the coolest parts about this leash, in my opinion, probably the coolest part, is this zigzag part right here. This is made of polyurethane plastic, and what's great about it is that it serves as a shock absorber. It's going to be a little hard for me to demonstrate, but when there's pull on it, as you may be able to see there, it extends. So rather than when the dog runs and there is that jerk, it's not quite so abrupt as like if it were just this part of leash, it would just be stopping. It's not so abrupt as that. This acts like a nice kind of a spring, a shock absorber. Yes, there's still an impact and shock and things like that, but it's far less than it would be if it were just the plain canvas or what have you leash like that. Now, as for all this pulling we've been talking about, one of the things that often goes neglected in my experience is the leash handle. Here, Zee.Dog has put a nice neoprene backing, and it's got a little bit of padding. What's nice about that is that if there's pulling, even especially if you're going on a long run or hike or something like that where you're holding the leash in your hand for a while, it's going to wear, it's going to rub against your hand, it's going to chafe, it's going to be uncomfortable, it's going to be uncomfortable for the dog because you're going to have to adjust and rein them in a little bit more. This pulling keeps it, this padding rather, keeps it nice and comfortable in hand, and I've had this on for a couple of hours at a time, up to like 3 hours on longer hikes and things like that, with no problems. Very, very comfortable, and I really ended up appreciating this a lot. Also in the leash is the clasp, the buckle. That thing is big and beefy, and this winter when I would hike in the snow, this was actually a great thing to be able to use even with big gloves on. It was really easy to operate. It's not some little thing where you have to get your fingers down. You have to have my like 4-year-old daughter, because her hands are small enough to get in there. This is nice and big and easy to operate, so that's great. The overall construction of the Ruff Leash is really, really nice. Very high quality, clear, holding it in your hand. This spring that we mentioned, the polyurethane spring, has a capacity up to 600 pounds, which is going to make it really, I mean, if your dog goes over a cliff, unless you have a 600-pound dog, you're probably good to go to hold him up there. If I had to make a change or addition to the Ruff Leash, it might be that I would have some length choices, because if you have a larger dog, which again, I have a 55-pound Border Collie, then this is 29.5 inches. It's a little bit short for running sometimes. And the reason it's short specifically for running is because the runner's leg is going out in front, probably, and the dog's legs are going quite far behind. So if you've only got 29.5 inches in a dog whose body is 29.5 inches, let's just say long, then you're going to wind up with a couple of collisions if the dog runs in front of you versus on the side. Not a big deal for me. Sadie listened very well, ran on the side, but there were a couple of collisions where she would cross in front of me where we just kind of had to be careful. She tripped a little bit. Not a huge deal, but it's absolutely fantastic for walking because you can maintain that control, keeping the dog nice and close to you without having to worry about it kind of leading all over the place. This keeps things really nice and tight into where you want the dog to be. Now, the Ruff Leash is available from Zee.Dog's website. There's a list of retailers there where you can go and find it. It's available for $18. Again, we mentioned that this is something we haven't really talked about on Gears before, dog gear. But as we get into this summer and this fall and things like that, we're going to be talking about a little bit more because not only are dogs companions when we go on these hikes and things like this, but they like to work, especially something like a Border Collie. Border Collies are working dogs and like to be able to contribute to what's going on around them. So we're going to aim to have at least one dog-related video review every month, if not more often, coming forward in this summer. So if you've got a product that you'd like to see or something, a specific brand or specific something for a brand, let us know and we'll do our best to get it in-house and get it reviewed for you. Now we want to know, what leash do you use when you take your dog running or walking? Do you like to have a short leash or do you like to have something long or an extendable leash? Let us know in the comments section below. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Gears TV. Please don't forget to like and favorite this video and also subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to follow us on all the social networks, facebook.com/Gearist, Twitter @TheGearist, Instagram @TheGearist, YouTube, you're watching right now, The Gearist, Pinterest/Gearist. Check us out on all those channels, and if you've got any questions or comments, leave them in the comments section below. As always, please visit Gearist.com, take a look around at all of our other reviews, and if you want to see something specific, let us know by emailing info@Gearist.com. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.